YouTube, welcome back to We Sibs, West Coast, East Coast siblings. In this video, we're going to be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. If you have not seen the movie, just go see the movie. I was going to say if you're a superhero fan, go see it, but just go see it no matter what because it's great. This is the spoiler full review. We're going to be doing a summary of the movie, we're going to be talking about the themes, we're going to be talking about the freaking cameos, and then we're going to be asking some questions about where the MCU is headed next. I'm not gonna lie, I lost track of the storyline. A lot of people are seeming to think that the storyline was weak, so I'm glad I'm not the only one. I am going to summarize the movie for you. Excuse me as I put on my nerdy glasses. I'm just gonna move this. Okay, so this movie starts with Deadpool. He's feeling a little down on his luck. It's been a few years since the events of the second movie. Deadpool's living a normal life. He's selling cars with his homeboy Peter. He has since broken up with Vanessa, even though she clearly still cares for him. He ends up getting a surprise birthday party with all of his friends from the previous movies. Then, the TVA shows up and swipes him. He meets Paradox, who is a character who will be important further down the line, but for right now, he's just some dude that works for the TVA. He informs him that his timeline is dying because the alpha being in the timeline is Wolverine, and the Wolverine died. Now, I think they're saying that the Wolverine died in Logan, so that Deadpool and Logan are in the same universe, I think. Paradox wants to speed up the inevitable destruction of Deadpool's timeline because Wolverine is gone, but he's got to take Deadpool out because Deadpool apparently is important for some nefarious future event that involves Thor crying. In order to fix the problem, Deadpool decides that he's going to go find Wolverine from a different timeline and just bring him into his timeline to fix the issue. So, Deadpool goes hunting for Wolverine, and this is where we get to see different versions of Wolverine in different universes, which I will talk about in a little bit. Deadpool finally lands on what is considered the worst Wolverine and brings him back to Paradox. Paradox says that that won't fix the problem, so he throws Deadpool and Wolverine into the void and pulls out a time snapper, some way to destroy the timeline faster. Just want to know, Paradox wants to destroy the timeline because that's going to bump him up in the TVA for some reason. Deadpool and Wolverine end up in the void, which in my mind is like the field of lost dreams. And it's funny because it's where the TVA throws all the people that they don't need anymore, but it's also where Disney has thrown all of its failed attempts at rebooting or bringing a character to live action. Obviously, it happens right in front of the 20th Century Fox sign, which is half buried in the ground. In this lost field of dreams, Deadpool and Wolverine encounter a bunch of forgotten Marvel characters that have been disregarded, and I will get into who they are and who those freaking awesome cameos are a little bit further down. While they're in the void, they meet Cassandra Nova. There's a whole complicated storyline with Cassandra, but for all you need to know, she's Charles' twin sister who died in the womb as a baby. Turns out she didn't die, she's alive. She's actually a very powerful mutant, and if I'm right, she's an Omega level, but I could be wrong. She has been trapped in the void. She can't kill Wolverine or Deadpool. I forget the reason, so she calls Elias to come eat them. Wolverine and Deadpool manage to escape on some Buzz Lightyear looking jetpack boot thing, and they fly away. Once they kind of crash from their boot pack jet thingy, they run into a nice Deadpool and Dogpool. Nice. While they're in the void, they find the rebel gang that is fighting against Cassandra. This rebel gang is made up of a bunch of forgotten Marvel characters. Again, cameos I'm going to get into. They encourage them to help them fight Cassandra and take back the void. I'm actually a little confused on why they're fighting her again. Was distracted. So they agree to fight. I'll go back to Cassandra, who's headquartered in the corpse of a giant Ant-Man, and a fight goes down. This is really cool because we get to see this band of forgotten Marvel heroes fighting and showing off their powers. Some of them we've never gotten to see, and some of them we've seen before. Wolverine and Deadpool go to confront Cassandra. Now, this is where they're trying to force her to send them back to Deadpool's universe, but they can't do that, so they need Juggernaut's helmet to help her. Huh, Juggernaut's in it, surprise. They manage to get Juggernaut's helmet, they put it on her, however, she can't help them without her powers. Wolverine throws her off her game a little bit. They manage to put the helmet on her, but then, while Deadpool wants to kill her, Wolverine says, I can't kill her. Charles wouldn't want that. He tells Cassandra that Charles, if he knew she was alive, if he knew that she existed, he would love her and care about her too. Charles Xavier, baby. Oh, so great. But they don't kill her, they make nice, and Cassandra basically tells them that a wizard came by and left a super cool wizardy ring. With that ring, she does the iconic, like Doctor Strange portal opening circle dance. Elias is still on his way, so Wolverine and Deadpool manage to jump into the new universe. While they're in the new universe, they encounter a big gang of Deadpools from other universes, a couple cameos there, and these other Deadpools are fighting them because they've been sent by Paradox. While they're fighting them, Cassandra learns that, dang it, another cameo, Pyro has lied to her and is actually in cahoots with Paradox. Pyro was going to kill her, but he failed, so she killed him first. Cassandra decides to come into Deadpool's world and go after Paradox for redigging on their agreement of her being goddess of the void. This is where she learns about the time stripper snapper ender. So she decides that she is going to learn how to work it, destroy every single universe except for the void, and she will rule the void as the most supreme being. Meanwhile, Deadpool and Wolverine are still fighting the clan of Deadpools. Is probably a better word for that. Peter, Deadpool's homeboy, shows up, and we learn that Peter is Peter in every single universe. And so all of the Deadpools are distracted by how much they love Peter, and Wolverine and Deadpool get away. They're trying to figure out how to stop Cassandra from destroying every single universe, and that's when Paradox tells them that there's an antimatter-matter feedback loop thingy that they have to disrupt in order to stop Cassandra from using the time stripper destroyer thingy. Neither of them are going to survive it. It will kill them. Wolverine tries to do the noble thing and agrees to do it. Deadpool kicks his butt out and says, no, you're not gonna do it. Spock fashion. He does it, and then somehow Wolverine busts through the door. And so the two of them are destroying or cutting the feedback loop of the antimatter and the matter in order to stop the time stripper from destroying everything. So they're holding it in order to like keep the universe alive. And then Wolverine's shirt is stripped off and we see Hugh Jackman's insanely cut body. He's way too fine for a man his age. Just saying. I was a little disturbed by those muscles. Anyway, after they manage to stop Cassandra, Wolverine asks if there's any way the TVA can restore the timeline and bring back all of the lost X-Men that he lost, which is why he's such a tortured, sad Wolverine. They tell him no, everything that he could have done has been done, there's no way to fix it. And so Wolverine decides to stay in Deadpool's timeline and become a part of Deadpool's little clan of awkward friends and family. So the movie ends the way it started, at Deadpool's birthday party with all of his friends and now Wolverine and a special guest. Guys, this movie was obviously really, really great. Obviously, very, very complicated. The movie, it clearly shows the legacy that has been the Fox Marvel characters pre-MCU, and all of those people are like my age, so very relatable. Really strong, heartfelt moments, which are surprising in where they show up in the movie, but not surprising for Deadpool movies at all. One scene in particular where Wolverine just lays into Deadpool, tells him that he's worthless, that he's trash. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, like we're definitely not watching a Marvel movie. This feels abusive, like it was mean. And so the two of them get into a fight, which I think is actually a really, really cool fight in the car. Again, to me, I will always love Hargreaves' fight scenes and the way he choreographs them. I just think they're great. But still a really, really cool fight scene. Neither of them can die, so they're just gonna keep chopping each other up. And they do. They go at it hard in a van all night long. I guess that comes to something else I wanted to put out. This movie had a lot of peach and eggplant jokes, if you know what I'm saying. It just felt like it was like unnecessary at times. The other Deadpool movies are the same way, but for some reason this one just felt like a lot more. That's how I also felt about Dogpool licking all into Ryan Reynolds' mouth. I was like, that's disgusting and not funny, but I don't know, maybe I'm just an old lady. All that being said, this movie was clearly a love letter to fans, to the fallen heroes of the Fox Marvel universe, and it was beautiful. So now let's get into what you actually came here for. The cameos! Oh my God! You guys, there were so many cameos and they were so random, so unexpected. If you have not seen the movie, go see the movie. I'm about to spoil the heck out of it. These cameos will not be in order. First, we have the whole clan of Deadpools. Not Lady Deadpool. Anyway, the girl version of Deadpool, Blake Lively. It's just her voiceover, but I really, really wanted her to rip off the mask and it be her, but I get it. She's busy. She got kids and she got a man and she got her own movie coming out soon. And then we also had Headpool, Kid Deadpool. There were a lot of different kinds of Deadpools. Cowboy Deadpool, I think, was also played by Matthew McConaughey. So moving on. We had a lot of characters from the original X-Men movies. I think we had a lot of the same actors back, which was great. We had Pyro, Toad, Quentin Quire, Azazel, Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike. I say Juggernaut, we also had the Juggernaut. You know, characters that you know, that you've seen in the X-Men original movies. And now we get into some other Fox characters. So, Chris Evans shows up, ladies and gentlemen, and right when you think he's gonna show up as Captain America and say, Avengers Assemble, he says, Flame on! So great, you guys. It was so great to see Chris Evans just in general. He's just so lovely. But it was so great to see him back as Johnny Storm because I think he played that role really, really well. And I think it's really funny when you think about Johnny Storm versus Captain America, completely different characters. And I think he was so good as Johnny Storm. And then there's the post-credit end scene. Again, very tongue-in-cheek because you see these clean-cut Captain America actor Chris Evans just cursing up a storm and just saying like foul, insane, awful things. It's not surprising for Johnny Storm to say that, but it's a little cringy to hear Captain America say it. And then we have Wolverine. So when Deadpool goes to find a Wolverine to bring back, he manages to grab the worst Wolverine, but we see a few other Wolverines on the trip. We get to see Patch, which is a version of Wolverine that is in the comic books where he has a white blazer and then an eye patch and he's like very suave and debonair. Wolverine in the brown suit, which I think is like one of his earliest versions of himself. And then we see Wolverine and Hulk, and then this man shows up as Wolverine. I lost it. I lost my mind. First of all, I just think Henry Cavill's great. But second of all, Warner Brothers did him so dirty so many times. And then he had to deal with the same mess for The Witcher. All this explosion on the internet about the Calvary and how Marvel would treat Henry so much better than Warner Brothers would. And I was actually surprised. I was like, Henry actually might be a good Wolverine. Now, who knows if that's actually gonna happen. I am not opposed to the idea, which is crazy because I'm very much like, you do it once, you do it perfect, don't do it again. And I don't think there needs to be a Wolverine. I think Hugh Jackman is just, he is Wolverine. But in a world where Hugh Jackman maybe didn't want to play Wolverine anymore, I think Henry Cavill would actually be a good option. Either way, I hope to see him back in the MCU. That was a crazy, surprising cameo, and it was just really great to see as a fan of both Superman and Wolverine. Moving along in the X-Men universe cameos, we get to see X-23. I can't remember what the actress's name is. And the door's clearly open for her. She and Wolverine end up in Deadpool's universe at the end of the movie. Anyway, part of me is like, oh, will she be a part of the Young Avengers? I think that's what it's called. So like I said in the summary, there is a group of motley heroes that Marvel has forgotten, and they're in the void. It includes Elektra. Ironically enough, I rewatched Elektra like maybe 2 months ago. It's still an absolutely terrible movie, but not as bad as Captain Marvel. I gotta respect Jennifer Garner though, because she was doing them pull-ups, and I said, bro, that takes a lot of arm strength, especially for a woman. Props to her. I'm off on a tangent. Anyway, they tease that Daredevil will come, but he doesn't. But they do make some jokes about her and Ben Affleck's divorce, and then we get Channing Tatum's version of Gambit. First of all, the costume looks so legit. I was really confused because I was like, was there a movie? There wasn't a movie, but I'm like, he looks so good in it. It was just like so great. I mean, it just, my heart with comic book accurate costumes, it's just so exciting. He did a great job. There were so many jokes about his character because, you know, they did the whole release thing in Hall H for a Channing Tatum Gambit movie, and then Disney bought Fox and they kind of canceled it and it never happened. So in this Field of Forgotten Marvel Dreams, he's there and he's like, I don't know if I was born here or what, like I just never got to be the hero. And it's like, oh, you didn't, but also like, did anyone want a Gambit movie? Anyway, did an exceptional job with the accent, mostly because it was all over the place, which is a nod back to pretty much all of the Marvel characters that are supposed to have accents that just can't seem to maintain them. And I was a little bit worried about seeing him in it, especially after seeing Fly Me to the Moon. Check out my review on Fly Me to the Moon. It'll be right here. Speaking of costumes that just make me tingle, Hugh Jackman shows up in the iconic Wolverine costume. Actually, I learned that in the original X-Men, the reason why they were in those leather suits and not like their actual costumes was because the Matrix was so popular. And anyway, so in this, to get to see him in the costume was amazing. It looked super, super good. And then it's as if it wasn't enough that he just had the suit. Then he puts the mask on. I lost it because you kind of forget with Marvel that superheroes are supposed to wear masks because of their secret identities. That's how that goes. We can't all be Superman. I mean, obviously Deadpool wears a mask too, so let me simmer down. But it was nice to see him in the mask. It gave like deep, scary Wolverine. Like, last, but certainly not least, the cameo that got the loudest crowd reaction, which kind of blew my mind because I was like, do these kids even know who this is? Was Wesley Snipes as Blade. Ah! Insane, because Ryan Reynolds was in the original Blade movie. So it was really cool to see them back on the screen again. It was amazing to see Wesley Snipes as Blade. It's like, I don't even know. I mean, I feel like other people have said like Blade is like the godfather of these movies, so it would be insane to not have him in it. Wesley Snipes looks great. I'm like, if Hugh Jackman can get to play Wolverine until he's dead, why we gotta recast Blade? All of his like cool iconic taglines just hit it on the head. That got the biggest fan reaction for sure. He says, oh, they're never gonna have another Blade. I'm the one and only. And then Deadpool makes a face where it's like, because we know that Marvel has been trying to get a Blade reboot off the ground for, I feel like, the last 5 or 6 years. So, questions moving forward. What the heck is happening with the MCU? This multiverse saga has been insane. Marvel has been like mostly down, with a little bumpy TV show up for Loki, and then down again. Do I think Deadpool is gonna fix the MCU? I think this is a good start. If we're in a series, I think he's won games 1 and 2. No, there's 7 games in a series. Hopefully Captain America Brave New World will get it together, and then Thunderbolts is coming, Agatha All Along is coming. My big question now is, of course, who is the big bad? Are they going to recast Kang the Conqueror?
Hey guys, I am editing this video as we speak, and we now know that RDJ has been announced as Victor Von Doom for the new Avengers Doomsday. So he will be our big bad. I'm not going to make a video about that, but I am annoyed that he's doing it. So let me know in the comments below what you think. And back to our regularly scheduled program.
Maybe Doom. I would love for it to be Doom. That brings us back into Fantastic Four, which kind of, if it's gonna be Doom, Fantastic Four kind of needs to be there. Reed at least needs to be there. Let me know what you think in the comments below about who the next big bad is going to be, what this next stage is going to look like. Is Deadpool Marvel Jesus? No. But he has done a great job in taking the first step into restoring whatever the heck is going on at Marvel right now. And we thank him very much. As always, like this video if you like this video, comment, subscribe, and click the bell so you can be notified of when we drop new videos. All right, thanks guys.